Welcome to IlliniGuys Halftime Live. This is Mike Kegley, joined by Kedrick Prince and Zeno Joe, one of our newest additions to the IlliniGuys. Welcome to the show, Zeno.
Happy to be here.
All right, we don't expect the young guy to be the guy with the AV issues. It's usually the old fat guys who corner that market. All right, frustrating first half for Illinois. You get to the point where I guess, Ked, the number one thing that jumps out to me is DeMond Williams was touched maybe when he dropped back to pass. He was touched maybe once, maybe. That is really frustrating that Illinois can't put together a pass rush. So the biggest thing we're going to hear from Illini fans is this an Aaron Henry problem? Is this an Illini roster problem? Is this nerves playing against Ryan Walters problem? Ked, what are your thoughts?
You're being nice if you're saying he may have gotten touched once. Maybe he got touched when they were shaking hands to come out to do the introduction, the pregame introduction. I'm telling you, it's frustrating. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm going to tell you, you get off the field. I don't want to hear about this prevent defense and don't break. Get your ass off the field. You knew they were going to march the ball right down the field, and I'm sick of seeing that. I don't understand what the issue is. You know what? It was a great play in the red zone, but if you're not in a situation, you don't give up a score. They have to find ways. You have to, if they're not going to rush, I don't know if they don't feel comfortable up front, if it's in the back, but you have to get off the field. It's been that way for a long time. And all these people, it would be great to go to the college playoffs. But I'm personally, and if you guys get mad at me for saying this, I'm sorry. I don't want to see the only team go to the college playoffs. If you can't stop people, you give up 7,000 points to Indiana and about 4,400 points to Ohio State. Those are the caliber teams you're going to see in the playoffs. Get off the field.
Zeno, what are your thoughts on this here? What's going on with that unfiltered, untouchable quarterback?
I mean, it's weird. They have two untouchable quarterbacks, apparently, right? I mean, Denzel Boston has a great arm through a dot, right? I mean, I guess the one bit of solace you can take from that first half is that Illinois does get the ball back to start the second half. But at the end of the day, you'd love for it to be a 10-point swing. You'd love for it to be a 14-point swing, not being down 4 and being up 3. If you maybe score a touchdown, which even then is not a promise at this point. I think the one thing that was maybe admirable about Illinois is that they had their longest drive of the season, right? 7 minutes. It was weird to see, right? It was every third down attempt was maybe 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, and you just put Caden Fagan in the ball game, and he gets you those 3-4 yards. That was maybe the bit of admirable sort of positive I take away from the first half. But really, the defense isn't scratching the offense's back, and the offense is trying to scratch the defense's back, right? And again, I'm here with Ked. Get off the field. Don't give them 7 points and go into half with the lead. That's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, look, I watch this and I marvel a little bit at the fact that the defense is even keeping Illinois slightly in the game here, because literally no pressure on the quarterback. The only thing I can think of is Illinois defensive linemen are going to stand up their linemen for 9 seconds and fatigue them for the third and fourth quarter. I'm not certain what that is. But one thing that Ked says that is true is you do wonder, with a younger defensive backfield and maybe a little less pure talent, it's not like Devin Witherspoon's back there anymore. You wonder if they're trying to do stuff up front to compensate for that. But man, you have got to figure out how to dial up some pressure. And I know they're very much concerned with Williams running. He is a nightmare in the open field. And I know they don't want to do that, but there has to be an answer here. On the offensive side, I feel like Luke Altmaier is playing one heck of a game. He is spreading the ball around, and I think the running game is hitting. Right now, Illinois is being outgained 230 yards to 196, 101 yards passing for Illinois, 175 for Washington, 95 rushing yards for Illinois, 64 for Washington. Illinois only one penalty with Krutz's, which I thought was a poor call for 15 yards, 5 for 49 for Washington. And I thought the pass interference was a horrible call as well. So it was 2 bad calls back to back. I gotta give the refs credit if you're going to play it down the middle. But Illinois, has just struggled, keeping 11 yards of completion for Washington. You just can't do that, and zero touches on the quarterback, or at least on no sacks. I mean, that's just a horrific route to go. I don't know, Kat, any thoughts, as we're talking through the Illini offense here?
I'm never concerned about Illinois' offense because they have a lot of weapons. They have one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Luke Altmaier is going to move the ball down the field. He's done it the whole season. And if you go back, and this is in the past, but Illinois scored the most points against Ohio State. Luke threw for over 200 yards against the Buckeyes. He's not my concern. I don't know, maybe – they have something drawn up in the second half that we're going to see. I know you're asking about offense, defensively, so that way Washington can't make adjustments. But I'll tell you this. If they go to the second half with the same philosophy, this is an L. They're not going to win. As good as Luke Altmaier is and as good as the offense is playing, and I don't know what the answer is, but to be a complete team, you have to be good offensively and defensively. And I just don't know if that's in the cards, and it's tough because I'm not going to sit here and be a homer. This is not good, but the offense is not a concern for me. They spread the ball around Mike. They run it well. And the receivers, for the first time in years, they run really, really good routes. I'm impressed with that. So moving the ball is no issue for me.
Zeno?
Yeah, I'm with Kat here. I think it's a philosophy issue, right? I mean, at the end of the game, if this is an Illinois loss, Brett will say, we had the ball going into end of the first half. We had 17 minutes, 41 seconds to 12 minutes, 19 seconds. These are positive things to take away. It's just that you can't stop the quarterback. You can't get the offense on the field for long amounts of time, right? These kind of things, and the red zone finishing has been atrocious. We have to talk about that. Illinois is one of the worst teams finishing in the red zone this season with a touchdown. And as great as Luke Altmaier is, if you can't trust your quarterback in the red zone, if you can't trust your quarterback to find the end zone, that's an issue. And honestly, it's a bit of a concern, right? But at the end of the day, if Illinois has more points than Washington at the end of the day, it's not something you worry about. It doesn't matter how much of the ball you have. It doesn't matter how many field goals we're kicking. It doesn't matter how many punts they're taking. More points is what matters. And I'm with Kat here. If Luke Altmaier can get comfortable, if they can run that tempo offense in the second half, should be smooth sailing.
Yeah, the thing that I have issues with is Washington. Right now, Washington has 15 plays on first down, 116 yards, averaging 7.7 yards per first down play. So that pretty much is why they didn't have quite so many third down attempts. Now, look, Illinois averages 3.9 yards on first down. Not horrible, but it's no way near Washington. Illinois has had more third down attempts, partially because they're not so effective on first down. Illinois is 7 for 8 on third down conversions. Washington is 4 for 5. And the bottom line is Illinois has to figure out something. Two things. One is they can't kick field goals. They got to score touchdowns, because the defense is not going to prevent Washington from scoring. And as Fedigator put on here, and I will say I agree with him. Everybody had to listen to me whine about this, but Kreutz, that thing would have hit him right in the throat, might have caused some sort of permanent injury if he hadn't dropped it. And to me, I just think, my goodness, they've got to be able to take care of plays like that. It stops that touchdown. Then all of a sudden, Illinois is up 17-14. They got a chance to do a double by scoring on the first drive of the second half. Ked?
Well, Mike, I'm glad you said that because if he picks that off and they don't score, and maybe you get on the field, you get a field goal or touchdown, you get the ball come out of the second half. If the defense is not going to make plays, then if you're up 27, 24, whatever the case may be, 14, 17, then the situation is different. You know Washington is going to pass the ball. So then you don't have to rush as many. But by not getting the turnover, allowing them to score, now they're going to be two-dimensional again. They're going to run the ball and they're going to throw the football again. And to me, being at home, I don't like Illinois. Being on the road, I don't like Illinois' chances. But that could have been a crucial turnover right now. And the one thing, I guess, not jumping the gun in the second half, they need a turnover, and they have to get off the field at least 2 or 3 times in the second half on third downs. Get them in third and longs. That is the key. Everybody in the country, I'm sitting here watching tons of people on social media, local fans, everybody saying the same thing. So we're not wrong in saying this.
Yeah, it's just frustrating to have all these things, happening, and ultimately you want to see the Illini do well. The other thing I'm going to say, and everybody in Champaign, will be annoyed at me, but you got to give Brett Bielema a bigger roster. And I'm talking about dollars to spend, because he's out here, with less dollars than a lot of these guys, and significantly less dollars. And that means you get guys, let's face it, if you have less dollars, that means you got less speed out on the edges. You got less speed in the backfield. And so if Illinois can find a way to get another Shad Khan or another, person who's going to support the program, I think you got to do it, because you're seeing right now with Indiana all across the country, there are boosters who are showing up saying, hey, can I help? If it worked at Indiana, can't we do it? And if you think you're going to show up, because Indiana is making a case to spend in the portal. And so across the country, prices are going to go up. Just to stay the same, you're going to need to spend more money. Okay?
Mike, I can't argue one bit. 90% of my job with you guys in this company is recruiting, and I'm going to tell you, they're doing a great job with recruits. But the speed of the game has changed. I watched the Indiana game today. They look like Ohio State, and he's been there for 2 years, a year and a half. You have to, and that's not my money, so I can't sit here and tell people you go help Illinois football out. But if you want your football program to be competitive, it has to change. It can't stay the same, because Brett is a classy guy. He's not going to go out there and say anything about the players that he has. He works his butt off. He's the head coach going out there to recruit. A lot of head coaches don't do that. He's out there recruiting because, let's face it, he is behind the 8 ball. And I think if the money is going to be available to players, and if other boosters and schools, look what Michigan did. There's a guy who went to Illinois for a year, and his girlfriend's a Michigan fan, and they went out and purchased, I hate to use that word, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. You got to show that kind of that kind of dedication if you're going to compete and you want Illinois to turn the corner. You have a good coach. You finally have a great coach down there who knows what he's doing. He's not perfect, but he very rarely makes mistakes. If you want to compete, because Indiana has raised the bar, they're not going to come back down. That's reality. Penn State is probably going to hire a great coach, and they're going to be back. Then you got Oregon and Michigan. So you're in the 4th or 5th spot right away. If you want to compete and stay ahead of Iowa or stay ahead of Wisconsin, because I don't know if the guy from Wisconsin is going to finish out this year or there'll be changes, you better find some money.
Yeah, I love to tunnel vision watching football. I love to hyperfixate on some things. And I think the story of that first half kind of tells the story of the season. Washington's offense runs on, spreading you wide, right? And the story is Illinois doesn't have 5 cornerbacks that can see the field and reliably defend. Illinois doesn't have 6 DBs who can maybe cover the back end of a pass attack. And teams like Indiana, teams like Michigan, teams like Ohio State, they have the money, they have the funds to secure that kind of squad, that kind of depth, that quality and depth. And Illinois just doesn't have that. And that's telling the story. If anything, right, what's the one way to stop a quarterback from exposing, I hate to say this, less talented defensive backs? shots to get to the quarterback, and Illinois is not doing that. And you just got to get to the quarterback, right? I mean, you got to touch the quarterback. There have been 0 tackles for loss on both ends of the floor this game, of the field this game, and you got to put pressure on the quarterback if you want to win a football game like this.
Yeah, I mean that's a position you're going to have to spend at. You're going to have to do that, and I'm going to be honest with you. Gabe Akis is going to have to. He's going to have to jump up. He's going to have to perform better. He's right now, and who knows? You know, I'm not trying to bang on a kid. He could have some sort of tweak or something that's bothering him. But the fact of the matter is, you got to get pressure. And you got to, in a worst case scenario, a guy like Gabe has to at least draw 2 guys and make them work hard so that everybody else gets single coverage. And that is killing it. But for anybody, looking at it, the one thing that I think Cignetti did that is huge that people don't talk about is that he went out himself and got Mark Cuban to give money. And I'll be honest with you, with there aren't many coaching duos that are better than Brad Underwood and Brett Bielema. I think you sit down with Mark Andreessen across the table from you with those two, and you talk about what is necessary. You go to these billionaires and you do that. And I don't care what the past is. Brett Bielema and Brad Underwood had nothing to do with the past of who may have made a billionaire mad 10 years ago. And, you give Shad Khan his honorary degree, and any professor who doesn't want to do it can find a 10-year job at another university. Nobody cares. So basically you got to go and you have to get this going. Now, the last thing that people are asking about, and I'll be honest with you, I kind of told you I thought that he would be more aggressive. You guys kind of laughed, but Bielema had timeouts. Why do you think he didn't try to use Luke Altmaier to get down there? Does he not trust the speed factor to get down the field quick? Is he thinking he needs 6-7 minutes to beat him up? Ked, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, Mike, that was one of the rawest comments I've ever heard from you about the money. I'm impressed. I think I'm going to record that. Well done, my friend.
Illinois needs a sales guy like me to go out and talk to these guys and set the table for guys like Bielema and I mean, seriously, Bielema and Underwood, and you bring Shauna in and Mike Small, and they talk to an investor. You think that wouldn't be impressive? And Josh Whitman is one of the best ADs in the country, but you need a salesperson to open the door to get those people in. And trust me, once the billionaires start competing against one another, it's real easy to get them to spend more because they don't ever lose in life, and they don't want to lose in this.
That's why they have a lot of money. And I agree with you. I'm just waiting for that. I'm waiting for that. And I feel bad when I answer your question, but I've not heard you do a rant like that on the radio. Usually it's just behind closed doors, and it's me. I'm fired up, man. I'm ready for the second half after that shit. I mean, stuff. Sorry. That's my fault. Sorry about that. I really am. But anyway, for the second half, guys, I really think I'm hoping that we see something different defensively. I really do, because I was never concerned about Illinois moving the football. This tells you how good they are, and they're close. And I don't want this game to be one of those games where we do the post-game podcast and we go, well, this was their chance. And I'm sorry, Washington fans, you're not going to like this. You need Illinois to win this game from a conference standpoint. Here's why. Illinois has an easier schedule than you do. You're going to have to face Oregon, and that's probably going to be a loss. So you're not going to probably get into the college playoffs. Illinois is your best bet to get that fourth team behind Oregon, Indiana, and Ohio State. They need Illinois to win this game.
Yeah, and I'm reading the chat here. I think David Alano is one of the best kickers in the country,
yep,
college or NFL. I mean, I personally know his brother. He said he can hit from 70. I don't know if that's family ties talking, but he's got one hell of a leg. He's a great kid. Give him a shot, right? And I get that it's a comfortability thing. Brett has talked about not wanting to play that tempo offense if Luke isn't comfortable in it. And to Luke's credit, it hasn't been a very tempo-heavy game today, right? 2 really slow Illinois drives that ended in, 2 scores. But you gotta get your kicker on the field. You never say that in football, but you got to get your kicker on the field in that situation, and that's where I stand. It's that. You got to get after points. You got to get after these fine margins. And if Illinois loses this game by 2-3 points, not taking those timeouts, not taking a shot down the field to end the first half is going to be where, you kick the blanket as you're about to fall asleep.
So there we are, folks. We're going to let Zeno close it off. They're just about ready to start the second half here. We will be back, same channel after the game. So make sure you tune in. It should be a good one. It'll be Brad Sturdy, Kedrick Prince, and myself. Zeno, thanks for your debut. It was fun. And we will talk to you after the game.